There was once a musician and a mathematician. The musician began learning the piano at the age of 6. He was already chomping at the bit to learn, and his parents held him back for fear that he'd overtake and discourage his older brother. Well, by the time he started secondary school, his parents had found him a private teacher taught by a pupil of the great 19th century pianist and composer Clara Schumann. And he describes an emotional awakening he experienced as a young teenager, transported in his imagination to the steppes of Russia while listening to Borodin's Prince Igor. The examiner, who later gave him full marks for a performance of Debussy's Reverie, simply noted on the exam paper, "He has remarkable emotional maturity for one of his age." In 1974, at only 18 years of age, he was one of just 4 people to be awarded the diploma in piano performance by the Royal College of Music. And there, his musical career ended. And it was all because of the mathematician. The mathematician was quite unaware of how good he was at maths until he reached secondary school. Before that, he just knew he loved doing puzzles with his older brother, who had actually been teaching him algebra, simultaneous equations, and even differential calculus. Maths was always his strongest subject at school and came with ease, no sweat, no revision, and beautifully precise, much to the frustration of others. Answers were either right or wrong. He saw that if you were good at maths, you could really do well with minimal effort. Well, up to around age 14, these two were the best of friends, but now a rift began to open up between them about life, the universe, and everything. The youth leader at the church they were attending one day presented them with 6 proofs of God's existence. Sophisticated stuff, but the mathematician was not impressed. The claims to certainty felt fuzzy. They drove him away, not closer. The musician found them irrelevant. In a world of beauty and wonder, it's blindingly obvious God exists, and Jesus is an incredible guy, well worth following. But because the two of these shared the same body, which was mine, they really had to settle this dispute. So, the musician took charge of the inner world, where rampant emotion and Jesus and God lived, and the mathematician took charge of the outer world, where public debate was held and career was shaped. However, whilst studying maths at university, the logic of a life devoted to Jesus pressed in on me. Positively, I came to see that belief in God and Jesus was entirely rational and logical, as long as you accepted the proof beyond reasonable doubt. And my career then took off in a surprising direction, consistent with all of that. Negatively, I think that in the very process of gaining more rational certainty, I became a colder and harder person in the way I lived that out in the realm of public debate. Well, little did I realise that I was playing out on the stage of my own life, the final death throes of the project known as the Enlightenment, which is the separation of facts, such as maths and science, and values, such as you find in arts and humanities. Still struggling on for the quest for certainty launched by René Descartes in 1641, a project that was soon to be abandoned in droves by Western culture at the end of the 20th century. Well, the mathematical outlook probably dominated my life up to age 33, and at that point something happened to me that shattered my confidence. Suffice it to say that 1981-89 was not just a big year for me, it was a focal point for what Paul Tillich had foreseen as the shaking of the foundations. In June that year, the world witnessed the brutal suppression of the peaceful demonstrations in Tiananmen Square. 4 weeks later, as it so happened, I found myself arriving on a plane into Shanghai, diverted from my original destination in Hong Kong. No one to meet me, not speaking a word of Chinese. And one of the many Americans trying to leave China at that time happened to be born in the city I was trying to reach, and advised me, well, you might try taking a boat down the Yangtze. Within hours, I was reunited with my Chinese university friend and his schoolteacher wife, who were in considerable shock. 25 of his students were on police report, but his wife cooked us the most splendid Chinese food I'd had in my life. And we discussed music, business, politics, religion, culture, and of course food with his friends and relatives, before spending 3 days with my friend Lily, exploring the wonderful beauty of the Huangshan mountain. It was a therapeutic experience for both of us, and it helped break the hard shell of rationalism that had encased me, opening my eyes and heart afresh to beauty, wonder, emotion, intuition. After having just scraped a grade 5 O-level English, I now became an inveterate reader, eventually a magazine writer and editor, and even dabbled in writing poetry. 4 months later, the Berlin Wall was shattered into a million pieces and carted off to every corner of the world as souvenirs. By 1997, the British government had produced its Excellence in Schools white paper, warning that at all levels society is undergoing massive economic, technological, social and political changes that challenge traditional values, beliefs and institutional arrangements. And you and I live in the aftermath of those shockwaves. We all need an inner compass that will help us navigate through the storm, and that's what this course is about. We hope that it will play a small but significant part in helping you to reach your destination.